you guys, welcome to the Ranting Shop. It's me, Melissa. Today I wanted to drop in to talk a little bit about Put a Ring on It because a lot of things have been happening behind the scenes. So far we know that two of Darian's exes have come out and spoken about their past relationships with him. One person, I believe her name is Dina, was the first one to come on Kamisha Reviews to speak about her experience with Darian. And to be honest with you, I believe a lot of people who listened to that interview believe Dina because a lot of the things that we've been seeing on the most recent episodes of Put a Ring on It align very much so to the character of who Darian is, who is essentially a narcissist and who is essentially a selfish individual who has never seemed to ever have to take accountability for his actions, and so it is something that is new to him. All his life, being in the music industry, being as washed up as some people like to make him seem, he has gotten a lot of groupies, a lot of people who follow his career, who follow him, who praise the way he thinks, who also thinks the same way as him. And that seems to be the case for the second interview that took place about or pertaining to Darian, and that was his second ex-friend. I don't know who exactly she is. She came and basically came to denounce Dina and to kind of almost say that what Dina was saying was a lie, it wasn't true. But for me and for a lot of people that listen to the second person's interview pertaining to Darian, it just seemed as if she came there simply to bash and to discredit the other woman, not necessarily to give any information pertaining to her experience with Darian. We never really got much from her other than the fact that she said that allegedly, she said Darian is this magnificent person, he's this creative, he's this person who doesn't think in a box, and she just basically came to discredit a lot of the things Dina said. Dina, however, came back to Kamisha Reviews to clear up some things and to say that, to double down on what she said and to talk a little bit about her interaction with Dina and the fact that, her interaction with the other woman, I think her name is Kona. They had a little bit of a disrespectful back and forth because I suppose Kona is trying to say that Dina is lying. Dina is trying to provide proof that what she said was true. Kona downplaying Dina's relationship with Darian. My thing about it is, you simply cannot discredit somebody else's experience. You were not there, you were not in their bed, you were not listening to their conversation, you don't know what happened. So how are you confident, not having any facts, to denounce somebody else's experience? I think that was completely disrespectful and disgusting at the same time. Moving along to other things, so Kai recently posted a screenshot or lots of screenshots pertaining to her conversations that she had with Alexia, and the conversations basically consisted of them wanting to clear up certain things about what Darian said and what Darian didn't say, and calling each other HOEs and all these other things, and wanting to include police into the whole situation because Alexia considered it to be harassment. She's saying that Kai's family members are threatening her in her inbox and so on and so forth. Now there's a Team Lex versus Team Kai, and it's just become a whole spectacle that is very disheartening and almost embarrassing, because at the end of the day, I think that we are forgetting the fact that Darian is no prize to any woman. and he's not gonna bring anything but chaos into anybody's life. So Kai posted some things about Darian, particularly alluding to the fact that perhaps Darian has allegedly been giving women sexually transmitted diseases, and the fact that Darian has multiple women, and he's been having them on retainer, so whenever he requires their assistance, whether it be financially, sexually, whatever the case may be, they're right there for him to use. And some of them are just oblivious to that fact, and they just feel like he's this great person and he does nothing wrong, and which is kind of disheartening and reminds me of kind of a cultish mindset, kind of like Stockholm syndrome. Like, you end up loving your abuser because I guess that's a mechanism to cope with the trauma that you have gone through with that individual. So yes, Kai also alluded to just some other things with her being with in the same vicinity with as Darian. And actually, in the very beginning of this season, Kai and Darian were spotted together. Actually, he posted some videos of him and Kai on his IG. So it's not something new. They've been interacting with each other. They didn't stop interacting after they had that last meeting on the show. They've been interacting after the fact. And so I don't know. What I don't like is when men call women HOEs and other derogatory terms when in fact they slept with that woman and engaged in sexual activity with that woman. So at the moment that you are engaging in sexual activity with the woman, she's not a derogatory term. However, after the fact, she becomes a derogatory term. I just find that men who do things like that are very disgusting, and it says a lot about them and how they view women. You know, it almost seems like there's this hatred for women. You know, let me use them for whatever they could give me and toss them aside whenever I don't need them anymore. And that seems to be the way that Darian has been going with these women, you know, and for them to take and accept it is very disheartening, and it speaks to their lack of self-esteem. So other things that have been posted, of course, Darian recently posted some pictures of his car that Kai allegedly used a Sharpie and wrote some, you know, negative words on it about Darian, calling him a cheater, calling him disgusting, calling him all different sorts of names on the car. And he noted that the building manager saw Kai did it allegedly and encouraged him to file a lawsuit against Kai, but he decided not to because in actuality he likes that type of behavior. The way Kai is reacting, that hot-tempered type of personality is what Darian craves. That's the type of personality that ignites Darian's fire. So of course he's not gonna press charges because he likes that type of stuff. For him, that is excitement. That is love to him. That is I don't know, he just loves it. And for Kai to play into this man's delusion, I'm just a little disappointed in her, you know. For a long time, for me, I just found it a little difficult to not like Kai. I found it difficult to hate Kai. I can't hate Kai because Kai came into the situation being very blunt and being very clear as to what she came there to do. So somebody like that, it's hard for me to say, oh, I don't like her, because she's been nothing but honest. I have, however, checked on certain things that she said because I felt like it wasn't her place to say, and it wasn't her place to want that Like, for example, the time she wanted Darian to, of course, choose her. So she was like saying that she doesn't see why Darian continues to stay with Alexia. To me, that was not Kai's place to say that. Another place where I think that she didn't need to speak on is when the most recent episode where we discovered that of course Kai and Darian had a sexual relationship. Kai was like, oh, let's tell her together. I felt like that was not necessary, considering it's not as if Darian is in a marriage relationship. That was completely unnecessary to want to tell Alexia about what happened with, you and Darian. I feel like it's quite enough for Darian to break it down to her. And everybody was so confused as to why Alexia, because initially in that episode she said Darian said that he cheated with Kai, and then in the next breath she says Kai said that why after 10 days, whatever the case is. So that was quite confusing, but it was very apparent that, of course, production had something to do with what caused Alexia's whole thing to change, because first it was Darian told her, and then it became that was in the first place she heard it. So if that was in the first place you heard it, who told you, and how long have you known? You know what I mean? Did you find out on that same day? Did you find out a couple days prior? Because to be honest with you, Darian had been sleeping with Kai. It wasn't at that point that he started sleeping with Kai. He slept with Kai weeks ago, and that is essentially why he suddenly flipped and decided to be this good man for Alexia, because he knew fully well what he did with Kai. And according to what he said, he was trying to break things down and make things, I guess, more digestible for Alexia. So his approach was, let me soften her up so that when I do tell her the truth, she doesn't, go off too heavy on me. And that backfired on him, because he had to tell her sooner than when he wanted to tell her. Do I believe that he ever was gonna tell her? No. I don't believe that he ever wanted to tell her. Do I feel like he ever wanted to marry Alexia? No. I never thought that this man wanted to marry Alexia. In fact, he probably slept with Kai knowing full well that it would break up their relationship, because he wanted to break up. He will do anything because he doesn't want to get married to Alexia. Whether it be cheat on her, do whatever it is he has to do, he will do it, because essentially he doesn't want to marry Alexia. So it doesn't surprise me that he cheated with Kai. I think he wanted to do that. The reaction he's getting right now, I think he wanted that reaction. This man always has a backup woman. So if Alexia doesn't pull through for him financially, he's gonna get with somebody else that's gonna pull through for him financially. So he has a stack of women lined up. Women like Kona, who will just blindly give him money or will blindly believe everything he says and not hold him accountable for anything. So yes, you guys, I just had to drop in and talk a little bit about the latest events that have taken place on social media. And it's been quite hot and juicy, to be honest with you. I remember Jessica saying to Darian under one of his posts that with or without him, the show would have still or will still be successful, and I would have to disagree with that, because I feel like without Alexia, Darian and Kai, without that storyline, the show would definitely fall flat. The show would not be as exciting, the show would not be as interesting, and the show would not garner as much interest as it has. So I do think that Darian's, Alexia and Kai storyline it's been giving that show a whole lot of ratings. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. Have you been keeping track of what's been going on social media? Because it's been really hot. Let me know in the comment section, and stay tuned for other reviews from the Ranting Shop. Bye. Like and subscribe.